Hello, I'm Stephen Cooley, and welcome to the Stephen Cooley Real Estate Show. And as always, it's an honor to have Julie Storm on the show with me. Welcome to the show, Julie.
Thank you. We've been doing this for quite a while.
I know. Actually, yeah, we've hit year 15.
We sure have.
So, and I think we're coming up somewhere around 1,000 episodes. So we'll have to have a little celebration when that hit. I'll have to count them all and see where we're at with that. So glad you're on today's show. And today we're talking about homeowner neighborhood restrictions. And I just wanted to bring the restrictions just to show you the size of the restrictions in the neighborhood I live in.
Wow.
All these restrictions apply to the neighborhood that I live in. A lot of people have questions about those.
I live in Baxter, and there's
Absolutely.
the whole board and everything that governs that. So with that in mind, let's talk about what is a homeowners association? What does that mean?
Good. Well, a homeowners association is when the neighborhood starts out, it's the developer usually and the builders involved. But once a certain number of homeowners get into the neighborhood, usually somewhere around 50% of the neighborhood filling up, then it becomes the homeowners who manage their own neighborhood. So just remember, it's not the police managing the neighborhood, it's not the government managing the neighborhood, it's just the homeowners. And they have elections. My neighborhood has elections, a president, a vice president, a treasurer, a secretary, and then there's a board, and they manage the neighborhood. And so we all have an opportunity, including myself, to be involved in, to be on the board, to be the president. I've been the president of 2 already in neighborhoods I've lived in. So you have an opportunity to have a voice in that.
And why is it needed? Why is it necessary?
Very good question. When everyone's let's just take Baxter, since you mentioned you lived in Baxter. I think when Baxter's 100% done, there's going to be close to 2,000 residents. Those homes are very close together. I mean, some of those homes are 5-10 feet apart. If you allowed all 2,000 residents to do anything they wanted to do, anything they wanted, it would be chaos. And you can go into smaller neighborhoods that have great restrictions where the homeowners have not followed through on them. You've got RVs parked in the front yard, boats parked in the front yard, people remodeling a car in the driveway, people painting their home any color they want to paint their home, people putting fences in the front yard, and you just don't want all that all those different things going on in a neighborhood that is lined with pretty streets and trees and homes close together. So anytime you see an entrance and kind of homes built similar, you will definitely have restrictions.
It also helps with preserve your property value.
Absolutely. I've spoken at homeowners meetings, and I make this available. I'm glad to come and speak at any HOA meeting that they have. I've done several this year for free, and just read the restrictions and then give you tips as the board or the HOA when they meet. Usually they invite all the homeowners once a year come and speak and just kind of give a neighborhood update and kind of an update on the restrictions. One thing is that we get a lot of phone calls and people say, I don't want restrictions. And so if you buy out in the countryside, you buy on a country road or whatever, you're not going to have restrictions most likely. But if you buy in a neighborhood that has an entrance, you're going to have restrictions. Now, I just sold a home this weekend and the restrictions were, now we get into HOA dues. How much do you pay? I just sold a home this weekend and it's $45 a year.
Wow.
And it's optional.
Oh, goodness.
And what they do with that $45 out of about 100 homeowners is plant seasonal flowers at the entrance. And they have a sprinkler system to keep them watered. So that's all that money goes toward. Well spent $45.
Right.
I sold a condo in Charlotte this month and the dues are $600 a month. Now, that's a lot to most people. But it covers the entire maintenance on this mid-skyscraper, swimming pool, security guard, parking, as most condos and townhomes, the insurance if it burns down. And if you tried to do all that on your own, yard maintenance, if you tried to do all that on your own, you'd actually spend more than $600 a month.
Oh, I bet.
So everybody kind of pulling their money together, actually it's cheaper.
Also, doesn't it protect you insurance-wise about the perimeter of the property in some cases? Some homeowners associations do have insurance policies.
Yeah, they have insurance policies, and usually that's townhomes and condos. They have insurance policies. So for people who are currently living in a neighborhood, I would say if you haven't read them, read them. Most neighborhoods even have websites now, and these are attached to it. Make sure that you know what you are currently bought into and can do and not do. You don't want to put up a fence. Fences can be $5,000, $7,000, $8,000 now, and find out you're not allowed to have a fence, or there's a certain type of fence the entire neighborhood requires. Or it has to be from the back of the house backward, or the front corners backwards. The other thing just to bear in mind, if you're buying a home, it is not a requirement to anyone to give you a copy of these. The realtor does not have to give you a copy of these. The seller does not, and the closing attorney does not. So if you're buying in my neighborhood, you probably want to ask someone for a copy of these, the seller, the realtor, but it's just not required to give it to you. And read them. Right. Know what you can and can't do. If you currently live in a neighborhood, and let's just say you don't want RVs parked in everybody's driveway, or boats, and you ride through a neighborhood as a new buyer and you see 6 boats, 7, 8 boats in the neighborhood, that new homeowner can probably buy in that neighborhood, park their boat, and based on the precedent that was set, you now can no longer do anything about it. Again, the police will not get involved in HOAs. It's the homeowners suing a homeowner is the only way you're going to fix that. If they say, well, I bought in the neighborhood and I had a boat and I parked it in my driveway because I saw 6 boats and they've got photos of those other 6 boats, they're not going to, the HOA is not going to win. So remember, if you let one person do it, just in your mind, remember, what if all 2,000 people in Baxter parks an RV in their front yard or front of their house? Are you then going to be happy as a homeowner if you even have an RV or you don't?
So as a buyer, when you're looking, that is something that you highly recommend, is making sure
Absolutely.
that somebody that is representing you is very aware of what those restrictions
Absolutely, and again, no one's required to give those to you, so I recommend as a buyer you asking for a copy, reading them, and knowing what you can and can't do, because there may be things there are some neighborhoods in Rock Hill that restrict you from renting your home, ever. Some restrict certain size pets or certain types of pets. There's certain dogs that have been restricted out of neighborhoods. So if you're moving here with one of those dogs, you buy a home and you don't read it, puppy can't come. And so we all love our pets, so we definitely want to watch that. So ask for the restrictions, read the restrictions so you know what you're buying into. Restrictions are a good thing in planned neighborhoods. They're not a bad thing. You definitely want them, and you want to enforce them if you're on the HOA, if you're living in a neighborhood now. The best thing to do is get involved, be one of the homeowners that's on the board, president, vice president, treasury. One last thing, if there are dues, ask if what's in the bank account. Is there assessment coming up? I got assessed on a condo that I owned in Charlotte, $7,000 the month after I bought it due to radon treatment in the building. So you may want to ask get the information from the treasurer or the president and call them and say, are you about to assess the neighbors for anything? Are you broke? Do you have money saved? Is there any capital funds being built up for redoing the entrance to the swimming pool and things like that? So I know we're about out of time, but again, you definitely want to read these if you're buying into a neighborhood. We keep a copy of almost every time I get my hands on a copy, we keep a copy on our file here. So any of our buyers can ask us for a copy. Another great reason to use the Stephen Cooley Real Estate Group. Thank you, for being on today's show. We've got beautiful homes for sale in your area. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back. I hope you've enjoyed watching the Stephen Cooley Real Estate Show. If you're interested in advertising your business on the program, please give us a call at 803-326-2777. Join us next week for more discussions on real estate topics and help in finding your perfect home. Thanks for watching.